What's up, everybody, and welcome to Inside the Game, ITG Daily. Scott, this is our show where we talk about all the latest in gaming news. We got the hot topics covered for you, coming at you live each and every day over on twitch.tv/theofficialITG, as well as YouTube at the official ITG. But if you can't catch us live, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. Scott, what's happening, man?
Not a whole lot as I struggle through these, coming back off of that nice break, you know? I didn't know what to do with the time, and now I don't know what to do without it.
Yeah, it's funny how it hits you, right? Coming back after holidays, you're like, whoa. Man, I got up early today. My wife had to go to work. She normally works from home, but once a week has to get in early, so getting up early this morning was Not something I was used to, I'll be honest.
A bit of an adjustment.
A little bit. Yeah, well, we're getting there because there's always something to talk about now. We are slowly ramping back into the video game genre of things to cover, things to talk about. And they're starting to slowly make their way back around as people are jumping back into the gaming atmosphere. And kicking off on today's show, Bethesda's very own Todd Howard reassures fans about the early New Year release of Starfield. God of War Ragnarok will get New Game Plus this year. And System Shock Remake could only be a couple months away, Scott.
Just when I thought the games were over.
They will never end. Not going to stop anytime soon. Dude, let's get into it. I want to talk about Bethesda because there's a bunch of I want to kind of get into. A lot of discussions going on right now with Bethesda. Reiterates Starfield will release in the first half of this year. That's right. 2023 is the year that we are finally going to see Starfield from Bethesda, their next big scope, giant, massive, hopefully jank-free game, Scott.
I'm sure it'll have a little touch in there. And the games don't usually launch in perfect shape nowadays, and well, no. Bethesda won't be any different.
Probably not, right? Probably not, unfortunately. But this one comes from Andy Robinson over at BGC. The statement was made on a newly launched support site for the Todd Howard RPG spotted by Starfield Beyond Twitter, which went live at the start of the month. Starfield arrives exclusively, Scott, right there, exclusively on the Xbox Series X and S and PC in the first half of 2023, it states. Starfield will also release on PC and cloud streaming. Director Todd Howard presented the first Starfield gameplay in a 15-minute reveal, which is exactly what you're watching right now on the show, shortly after the title had been delayed from the first half of 2023 until the first half of 2023. Scott, I'm excited, but I wasn't surprised to see the delay. Were you surprised to see it? Do you think we'll actually get it? Even though it is stated, there it is, first half of 2023 or early 2023. When do you think we're actually going to see Starfield? When are we going to get hands on, my friend?
I think first half is a lot easier to believe than early. Because how early? Does that mean Q1? I don't think Q1 is very likely. But
no,
Q2 is still just exciting to me. And although I feel that too, because of the scale, I'm a little worried that something is going to go wrong in, very early release and we'll have issues. But those issues are just kind of across the board forever now. This is my most hyped game now that is existing yet to come. Avowed is up there, but this one is the...
What? What game?
Avowed, yeah, I'll never see that one, but it's right next to Scalebound.
Ow, that one hurts. Yeah.
I'm worried that we're gonna see a little bit of I'm tempering my expectations, I'll put it that way, because of how Callisto Protocol kind of came and didn't really excite that much. The way Scorn kind of was a bit of a letdown. I'm worried to be excited.
Well, speaking on a podcast last year, Todd Howard claimed the decision to delay the game was a tough one, but it was the right thing to do, and that Bethesda was working on the top tier engineers at Xbox. So they'll make the game sing on consoles, they said. So hopefully we won't get into the Skyrim problems we ran into with PlayStation 3. Dude, I'll never forget it. It blocked consoles. They just shut consoles down. It was nuts. Microsoft's acquisition of Bethesda means the studio's future games won't be released on PlayStation consoles, but Howard claimed the developer already had a history for releasing Xbox exclusive content dating all the way back to 2002, The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, Scott. So they do have a long history here. So when they did get picked up by Microsoft, it was a big move, but people, I guess, when you get settled in after all the big reveal, not really that surprising, considering they had such a high relationship and such a valued relationship with Microsoft. So to get over there now, see it go exclusive is a little unfortunate, I think, obviously for PlayStation fans, but it now gives you a reason to get your Xbox, right? It does give you, if you are a Skyrim fanatic, your next Skyrim is not going to make it on PlayStation. Is going to push you over here. And here comes Skyrim. Scott, do you think Skyrim has Starfield has the potential this year to be Game of the Year for Xbox?
I think it does. I'm not certain. I haven't, without looking at the release track that we're on, because I'm sure there's one or two on there that'll compete, but Starfield just being so massive, the scale of it, if delivered on, could very well be game of the year.
Well, talk is cheap, right? That's obviously the biggest thing when it comes to here's our grand vision. The creator of Fable would do this to us all the time, right? Peter Mullen.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
This is what you're gonna get, and then really you don't get that. No Man's Sky, when it released, right? Everybody had high expectations. Sean Murray put it at this whole other level. Game comes out, and you're like, oh, that's not really it. So there's a couple other things, right? You kind of get into this. This sounds amazing. It sounds incredible, but will it actually hit? I think is the bigger question, right? Can Bethesda deliver with Starfield? I think they can. I think they're like that close from nailing it. And if they do come out and it's gonna have bugs, just the game of this scope, this size, and so many planets that we're gonna be traversing and exploring, something's bound to happen that even internal testing will not find, right? Like the developers find the bugs when it gets released because millions of people jump on.
Yeah.
But when you go to Sony, dude, you go to Sony and their games don't bug. They don't jank, right? Like I have very little issues in Spider-Man, God of War Ragnarok, like you name it. Those games just come out and they're like polished. Remember when Nintendo came out and then like everything you get from Nintendo is just at this high polished level? And that's kind of where PlayStation is right now, especially when it comes to the single player campaigns, that it is. So, but again, granted, if you take a look at God of War Ragnarok, it is obviously not as open world as Starfield is going to be. Starfield is at a whole other level. But Bethesda's always had this janky issue to their games, and people just let it go and call it the Bethesda jank. And man, I'm just tired of the excuses. I'm so tired of it. I don't want jank. I want a polished game. Give me the finished game. And everything we've seen in this 15-minute reveal looks incredible. Like how long, Scott? This is where I kind of get now going into I feel the Witcher syndrome coming in, going, and we're going to be here for hours, like hundreds of hours, right? Is it too much?
I think so. I think this is the biggest time investment, but that's what Bethesda does. That's really their bread and butter, is to put these ginormous worlds out in front of you. And this is just, they're one-upping themselves once more. Where do you go from this becomes my question. Is this going to be a Starfield, a whole unique IP of its own? Are we going to get a Starfield 2 several years from now?
Yeah, no, those are valid questions, right? I wonder if they're talking right now internally too over at Bethesda, going, what is next? Because they are if we are getting the game this year, they're in the final polishing stages, and there's probably another team in the boardroom going, what's next? Are they going into Fallout? Are they going into Skyrim? Or do we get a sequel here with Starfield? I think it comes down to how well does it perform, how well does it execute on all the promises that they put on the table, and how well does it resonate with the audience. That there, I think, will determine if we get Starfield 2. Dude, just by looking at the trailer, which obviously is polished to a state of performance, looks amazing. Like it really does look cool. And I feel we can get lost here without even worrying about side quests and doing minute stuff and just build, like, I cannot wait to build my base. My ship, dude, will be my ship, and your ship is gonna be your ship. Like our whole team will be on this game, and everybody will have something different, right? Like that's the exciting part of it too. Everybody will be in a different stage of the game. Everybody's gonna be in a different experience, and everybody's outcome hopefully will be different as well. And then when you get into your ship and stuff, dude, like it's just, whoo! I'm excited.
I'm thinking of modeling my ships after the Cylon. There's a throwback.
Okay, well, that one's on you. I don't know.
Oh, good old Battlestar.
Fair enough. Yeah, dude, so that's exciting. This year, they said early this year, so early 2023, we finally get to see an exclusive on the Xbox platform, which is going to be a big hit, hopefully, for them, because they need something to start carrying them through. There's a lot of promise of, like you just talked about, where's Avowed right now? Where's Fable right now? Like there's a couple questions. Where's Everwild? Dude, where is Perfect Dark? Where are we at? Right? So we're into 2023. Start us off strong, hit us with Starfield. That'll keep a lot of us going for 6 months, a year, right? Honestly, just on that game, we'll be bouncing out of it into other stuff and then back into it. But yeah, we can do a whole show on this, Scott. But we should get on to God of War Ragnarok is getting New Game Plus in 2023. George Yang over at IGN. Sony Santa Monica announced the New Game Plus mode will come to God of War Ragnarok in spring of 2023. Quote, we know many of you have been asking, so we're happy to confirm that the New Game Plus will be coming to God of War Ragnarok in spring of 2023, said Santa Monica Studios over on their official Twitter. We'll share more details once we get closer to release. God of War 2018 added New Game Plus mode a few months after its release. There, players were able to carry over earned equipment and abilities. Players were also able to create new armor sets for Kratos and Atreus, as well as the ability to convert talismans into enchantments. New Game Plus mode also changed attack patterns of Valkyries and introduced timed realm tiers. We're kind of expecting all that and a little bit more moving into God of War Ragnarok. Still, unfortunately, have not got that platinum, Scott. I don't want to
I was just gonna ask.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk.
Dude, are you prepared for New Game Plus though?
No, I probably won't. Dude, here's the thing. I play a game, especially a single player campaign. I play it, enjoy it, love it. Dude, I love the God of War Ragnarok was my game of the year. I won't go back. I already played the story. The story's not going to change, right? Like that's the biggest thing for me is once you play that story, it's just not going to change. I might give it a couple years, maybe then I'll go back, but even then, that's probably unlikely. I
wonder if they'll remix some of the new, like the end game kind of things, or some of the boss fights might behave a little differently. But you're right; it's not going to change up drastically.
No, right? And I had a great time, and it was long. I say long, but I think I was somewhere in around 35, 40 hours, give or take.
No, that's traditional long, not Ubisoft long.
Yeah, 146 for Valhalla. That's a whole other discussion.
Man, I'm just thinking, Ubisoft plus Bethesda, if they ever got together and made an open world game, it would never end.
So there are a few things, right? Like, do you go back, check it out? I don't know if I will. As much as I love the game, I really don't know if I'll go back to it or not. I'd like to say yes, but I probably, in hindsight, probably won't, just because we'll be on to whatever we're working on next here at the show. But there is an opportunity for people to go back. You carry over everything and then hopefully get introduced a couple new mechanics as well. So that's exciting. Keeping God of War Ragnarok alive and going. Scott, speaking of something coming back, after multiple delays, System Shock's remake is now getting targeted for a March release. Andy Robinson over VGC has confirmed this. Night Dive has confirmed its System Shock remake is getting a March 2023 release window. The crowdfunded remake has been in development since 2016, and remaster specialist Night Dive has previously committed to releasing the game in 2017, which obviously didn't happen, 2018, 2020, and 2021. So here we are in 2023. So rumors are that we are getting it in March. Scott, you excited?
I'm very interested because I had not actually played System Shock way back.
Oh, okay.
Now, I know it's one of the games that has, like its DNA is felt in other games of the space, but for some reason I just did not actually get this one.
Huh.
I think BioShock is kind of its closest descendant, and I love BioShock, so I'm sure this will be just what I'm looking for.
Yeah, just what you're looking for. You can tell me all about it. So that's exciting. I know a lot of people have been waiting for that one. It's been something, obviously it's been in development for a very long time now, 2016. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, but definitely a lot of people are pretty pumped for that one. It was such a beloved franchise or a series at the beginning, and now people are like, oh, it's coming back. And I remember when it first was revealed, people were like, they were so excited. They were so pumped for it, and then just hit with one delay after another, which is unfortunate. However, 2023 March, dude, we're only 3 months out now. Actually could happen. It's cool. Very cool. Dude, I want to get into Square Enix because this one's an interesting one because Square seems to be all over the place right now. And I got a couple of questions and concerns. Square Enix aims to grow internal development in 2023 despite selling Western studios. Scott, this was the biggest. What? You're going to grow internally? But yeah, you sold off 3 studios. This comes from Marie D'Alessandri over GamesIndustry.biz. Square Enix president Yusuke Matsuda has shared the firm's ambition to bolster its internal development capabilities in 2023 and shed light on why this goal is not at odds in having sold Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and Square Enix Montreal. Dude, that is at odds.
Yeah, that does seem at odds with me.
Like, oh man, there goes. Not only did they sell the studios, but they sold the IP with those studios, right? So then you lost Tomb Raider. And all this went over, if you don't know, we haven't heard, it went over to the Embracer Group. Embracer Group bought them for like $300 million, like super, super cheap, considering everybody's standards today of like $1 billion here and $1 billion there and this, that, and the other, right? But $300 million, 3 studios, not just one studio. This is 3 studios. Crystal Dynamics, Square Enix Montreal, like just IDS Montreal. You got Tomb Raider, like you've just lost Deus Ex, Thief. Dude, there's so many. Bracer Group, you better bring these games back. I'm hoping we get to see them, right? So where does this lead?
Oh man, I want to play another Thief game.
Another Thief? I want another Deus Ex game. Dude, I'm so hungering for a Deus Ex game. Like, we love stealth games, and that had such a stealth cyberpunk aesthetic to it, right? This biomechanic engineered like augmented body parts. Dude,
I think we're like 20 years from seeing that in our real world.
That's
like days that if you go back and play Human Revolution, I don't know, man, it's looking a little weird.
Yeah. In his New Year's letter, Matsuda explained that selling the 3 studios to the Embracer Group in May 2022 aligned with the Square Enix objective to further concentrate resources on the increasing sophistication and complexity of the game development have made such endeavors more costly to pursue. He added that part was a large restructuring across the group, with Square due to reconfigure its portfolio of titles for the medium to the long term. To that end, we will accelerate our efforts to strengthen our internal development capabilities by further expanding our internal talent pool. This is just so bizarre to me, though, Scott. While also more quickly concentrating our resources on the development of titles that are competitive globally. The remarkable growth in the scale of modern game development has made evaluating the skill sets and focusing the efforts of our development teams more important than ever. Dude, we are getting Forspoken from Square Enix this year. Next month, in fact. The end of this month. End of January, Forspoken will be coming out. So that's one game they're bringing out. We also know about Final Fantasy 16, Scott. That's another big one. But that's Square's biggest brand right now. That is their biggest IP, is Final Fantasy. Forspoken is yet to be proven. There is a demo out right now on PlayStation. You can go out and try it out for yourself. I'll warn you. It's a little mix in the combat zone. I'll tell you that right now. It is floating.
Yeah.
Woo! Steve and I are going to be playing it for review.
I've seen a lot of like negative reaction to that, but I'm not sure if it was just not what people thought they were getting. One of those where you see the trailers and then what you get is a little different. Some of that's to be expected, but
sure. I'm excited for Forspoken, but it does have my concerns as well, right? Getting into the game, it was a little, dude, the controls are floaty. Like, you really don't feel like you're grounded or that connected, and you're pulling up powers. But granted, they toss you part way into the game too, right? So you're not used to building yourself up. You're just kind of tossed in, and here's some abilities, and this is how that works, and this is how that works, and away you go. So hopefully, getting in there at the ground running, we'll have a better understanding and feel a little bit more connected. But they had a little bit of time, but I think they needed to get it out there, show people what they're going to get into. I'm excited. I think the story sounds cool. And I definitely want to get hands on. We'll be getting into this one, hopefully, with Square and pushing that one forward. Steve and I will be on it with our PlayStation 5s and having a good time, hopefully. But coming off the demo, Scott, I'm a little nervous, I'll be honest. And then, of course, they finished up their newsletter saying that they are definitely committed to the blockchain space, which they iterated on last year, too, as they ended off last year. So we'll see where Square Enix is pushing. This is one of the reasons why they stated they sold all of their IPs in the first place, is so that they could focus on the blockchain and start moving over to there. So their president is very bullish and eager for the blockchain space to see how that gets integrated and stuff like that. There's a lot of questions, Scott, in that realm altogether, but I think eventually it will be inevitable, and we will be there at some point. Just when and how, I think, is the key thing, how to do it, right? Without feeling like the loot box kind of thing all over again. You know what I mean?
I really have not seen anybody elaborate on what blockchain space in video games could even be. And I'm I'm left to wonder, is that just like when my Xbox updates my save file from somewhere else? Like, what's the point? I don't get it.
Well, then I think that's what we're kind of waiting on. We're waiting on someone to prove that purpose, right? Like, what is the overall arch of getting into the blockchain for gamers?
Being able to grind NFTs doesn't do it for me either.
No, we have cosmetics already. Yeah, no, there's definitely a couple things that people will have to sort out. I want to get into one last article, Scott, before we wrap it up. Dude, have you noticed one thing? Because it is so early in the year, there's no game releases right now.
Yeah, nothing. I've seen,
Nothing.
I think the 11th, the 17th, something like that is the newest one coming up.
Yeah, but there are new games in development. The Last Guardian developer suggests it will reveal its next game this year. Gen Design says they will be working on announcing what they'll be up to. This is Andy Robinson over at VGC. The Last Guardian developer, Gen Design, has suggested it will reveal its next game sometime this year in 2023. In a New Year greeting posted on social media, the Japanese developers said 2023 would finally be a year with lots to talk about. Scott, I'm excited. This is some of the creators from Team Ico. They came over. They obviously gave us Ico way back in the day on PlayStation, 2001. And then we got Shadow Colossus. And then we waited forever to get The Last Guardian. Finally got The Last Guardian. And haven't seen them since. It was troubled waters, dude, with The Last Guardian and PlayStation.
Oh, was it?
Oh yeah, it was not smooth whatsoever, which is unfortunate because everybody loved Shadow of the Colossus. Dude, Shadow of the Colossus is some people's favorite game of all time.
Have you met any one person that didn't like that game? Because
Right?
I have not.
Yeah.
Everybody loved that game.
I went back and I forgot how clunky the controls felt. Right, when sometimes traveling back into the past, Scott, isn't exactly the most wise idea. Sometimes
I think back to my past as a GameCube controller.
Oh boy, yeah, that's a controller and a half, isn't it? Right there. Yeah, it's
well,
interesting.
These hands are about a controller and a half when it comes to GameCube.
The Last Guardian isn't a game I finished, but it's funny because I contemplated going back over the holidays. And man, you know how the holidays, you get plans for holidays, and then you never execute on like not 75% of those plans.
That was mine.
Yeah, I ended up playing PUBG, a lot of PUBG, which surprised me. The Witcher 3, and of course Siege with my wife and yourself and Kyle. And a couple other games in there too, but between The Witcher and PUBG and just kind of puttering around and then all family stuff, man, next thing you know, holidays are over. I had plans to go platinum God of War Ragnarok, did not happen. Right? Didn't even touch it. Dude, I didn't even touch God of War, which breaks my heart. I wanted to jump into Horizon again as well. We're getting DLC now for Horizon Forbidden West. Burning Shores is coming sometime this year, so that's exciting. A lot of Horizon stuff coming out this year. Could be an interesting year for PlayStation as well. So very excited, Scott. But we'll see. We're gonna get hopefully some game news here on what the Gen Design is up to and what their game is going to be. If larger scale development becomes of interest, they're looking to scale things right up to the next level and go AAA stuff. So yeah, I don't know, a lot of talk, a lot of hopes, a lot of dreams, Scott, and we'll see kind of where it all lands. But I'm definitely pretty excited to see where. Like, I loved Ico, I love Shadow of the Colossus, and I did for what I did play. I played a fair chunk. I just never got to the end. I just never wrapped it up. And it's one of those things kind of haunts you, right? It's one of those games that haunts you. So, but The Last Guardian was a cool game. If you haven't played it, I definitely say go check it out. I do have the statue. It's awesome.
I thought so.
Yeah, I do have it. But either way, Scott, just like that, man, oh man, the show is over once again. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us. This has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. You can always join us live over on Twitch and YouTube at the official ITG. When you're on YouTube, help us out by hitting that subscribe button. And if you can't join us live, hit us up later inside the game.ca podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. Until tomorrow, everybody, I'm Drew. That's Scott. We'll see you inside the game.